Have you ever stepped into a room, met someone, or heard a sentence and felt this weird, sudden certainty? I've been here before. It's that eerie flash, a split second that makes you stop and wonder if time looped for a moment. That feeling has a fancy name, déjà vu, literally already seen. Tonight, we're going to chase that feeling apart. We'll look at what déjà vu actually feels like, why your brain might produce it, and whether it's a harmless quirk or a sign of something deeper. By the end, you'll understand why your brain sometimes insists the present is a memory. Hi everyone! Welcome to Imagine What. This is the place for big ideas, wild imagination, and creative thoughts of all kinds. If that excites you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support keeps me going. And drop your ideas in the comments, because the next video might just be inspired by you. Alright, that's enough chit-chat. Let's dive into today's topic. Déjà vu is the sudden, strong impression that a new situation is familiar, as if your brain insists you've lived it before. Importantly, it's usually brief and clearly wrong. You know logically that you haven't been there. Psychologists separate a few related phenomena: déjà vu, déjà vécu, and jamais vu. Most people experience déjà vu at some point in their lives. It's common enough to be normal, but vivid enough to feel uncanny. One mainstream idea is that déjà vu is a memory glitch, a brief mismatch between recognition and recall. Our brain has multiple memory systems. One signals familiarity and another supports recollection. If the familiarity signal fires without proper contextual recall, you get that strong sense of, I know this, without the why. Another related account is the split perception theory. A very quick, partial perception of a scene registers subliminal. And then when you fully perceive it a fraction of a second later, it feels like a repeat. In both cases, the brain treats a brand new input as if it had been processed before. Neuroscience pinpoints regions like the medial temporal lobe, especially the hippocampus and adjacent cortex, as central to memory and familiarity. These areas help bind contexts with experience. In some people, abnormal activity in these regions produces intense déjà vu episodes. That's one reason neurologists take very frequent, intensely intrusive déjà vu seriously. For most people, however, déjà vu doesn't signal disease. It's just a transient hiccup in the same networks that normally let us recognize faces, places, and patterns. In short, the wiring that makes memories coherent sometimes misfires briefly. Psychologists note déjà vu peaks in younger adults and often happens when people are tired, stressed, or distracted. Why? Because fatigue and divided attention make perceptual processing noisier, increasing the chance of split perceptions or misrouted familiarity signals. Another angle, familiarity often comes from partial matches. Something in the environment resembles a stored memory just enough to trigger recognition. Emotions amplifies the effect. If you're anxious, the amygdala's involvement makes the feeling more intense and memorable. So lifestyle, sleep, stress, focus actually changes how often these hiccups occur. So what can you do, and when should you worry? First, for most people, déjà vu is harmless, a curious quirk of memory. Reducing stress, getting regular sleep, and avoiding extreme fatigue may lower how often it happens. Keeping a short log of very frequent episodes can help spot patterns. Importantly, if déjà vu becomes extremely frequent, lasts longer than a typical few seconds, or comes with other symptoms, seek a medical opinion. Neurologists check for temporal lobe issues in those cases. Otherwise, enjoy it as one of the brain's little mysteries. Proof your memory system is powerful enough to sometimes fool you. Déjà vu is one of those tiny mysteries where neuroscience and everyday life meet. Weird, harmless for most, and a great reminder that our brains are always working behind the scenes. Tell me in the comments, what's the strangest déjà vu you've ever had? Thanks for watching Imagine What. If you picked up something new today, or it just got your imagination running, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share your ideas in the comments. We might dive into your crazy thought next time. Thank you, bye!